Okay, I took a little bit, break time. So my clip of 2016 presidential campaign was delayed a little bit. I'm filming it now. On Friday morning, before I went out to work, we talked about, actually I walked through the table S-2 of a federal budget for 2016 on OMB's website. Let's go through further. On Friday, we talk about the baseline and the proposed budget. Actually, there's a table S-4 is for the baseline. There's more breakdown. You can tell the outlay and the receipt. The outlay came from the appropriated programs, the defense and non-defense total 1.1 billion or 1.2 billion, and the mandatory program like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, other mandatory programs that come up with like a 2.5 trillion. The appropriated program is 1.2 trillion. And net interest is like 283 billion, and adjustment for the disaster cost like 6 million. Joint committee enforcement is deduction of 67 billion. So the total outlay is this almost 4 trillion. And the receipts, it's 3.4 trillion. That majority of the receipt came from the tax. You can tell the individual income tax 1.6 trillion, corporation income tax 433 billion, social insurance and retirement receipts from the Social Security, Medicare, unemployment, or the other retirement, excess tax, estate and gift tax, customer duties, deposits of earnings from Federal Reserve System, and other miscellaneous receipts. So the deficit for the baseline is 535, as we already knew on Friday morning. And the table S-5 is for the adjusted or the projected budget, which will be deducted from the baseline. So the structure is the same, outlays and receipts, but there are some reshuffles to reflect those increase or decrease we talk about, like increase the deficit on for the working family and the low income in several categories. Actually shrink the deficit by probably collecting more taxes from capital gain, from tobacco industry, from rich. So all the details are reflected here. So as I said, or as I wrote earlier in my blog, I assume because the United States is the most liberal country within the welfare states, so I assume all these proposals are based on the most liberal approach. And if we apply more social democratic approach, just like what Sweden adopts. Sweden is the most social democratic country in terms of the welfare state. Probably we can let's see, we can reshuffle all of these detail elements to probably shrink the deficit even more. But you know, as we can tell, the shrinking the deficit will come from either increase the receipts or decrease the outlays, or both. So increase the receipts will demand or request more collections of taxes. And that is the major characteristics of a social democratic system within the welfare states. And decrease the outlay, that probably, you know, won't be a good idea based on the current situations, because you know that means we have to cut the mandatory programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, which probably against the you know, the public will. Anyway, my point today is there is a difference between the most, or between the two systems in within the welfare states, social democratic versus liberal, and to the extreme is Sweden versus United States. If we can find some middle ground to, as I said, to bring in some social democratic characteristics, we may be able to resolve the budget problem or issues more positively. That's my point. That's why I keep saying probably we need to adopt some philosophy or concepts, or taking some advantage of the socialistic characteristic